Good evening, everyone. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 7th round of the championship here for the Tier 1 drivers in Invictus Racing League. And the guys are going to have to get used to a European flavour here at the Netherlands and Zandvoort for this fabulous historic track that will see 36 laps around this 4.259 kilometre circuit. The action is due to get underway in less than 20 seconds time, and I'm your commentator for Tier 1. It's me, Jack TM53, and I'm delighted to say that alongside us, as always, and for basically the main part of this season, I'm delighted to say Mikey is back with us tonight.
Good evening.
How are you, Mike?
Yeah, not too bad, mate, not too bad. Obviously, get ready for one of my favourite tracks on the calendar.
Why is it one of your favourite tracks on the calendar?
I don't know.
Great start.
I think a lot of it's because it's more of a technical circuit than just pace. Obviously, I know there's like the long straight, and then that's it. But then, I think sometimes it's a bit more technical. I think I just like it for that. It's just different, isn't it? So, yeah.
It is certainly a blend of classic track design. It's not one of these circuits that's been made by Herman Tilke or his company, but it's also got a blend of modernity to it. You know, the upgrades to turn 3 and of course the final bank corner at turn number 14 have certainly put a nice twist of flavour to this iconic circuit. We've got 13 drivers in for this evening in terms of the on-track action, which is a pleasant figure to have. We've got a couple of people who are unable to join us this evening. We should be up to 17 typically, but tonight we're a few short, which is fine. We've still got 12 drivers who are going to come home, well, if they finish, are going to come home with some points, and one driver who won't, in that sense of how the IRL points system works. But it looks like Owen's going to be the first driver in the Ferrari and the only driver in the Ferrari, to go out there and get some laps on the board.
Obviously, good evening to everyone in the chat. Obviously, Bjorn and Milo's home race, technically.
It is, yeah.
So it'd be interesting to see what the guys can do. Obviously, short round even, lads. See, happy days. Obviously, Yell Geeson. Thank you for the 2 goats commentating. Well, thank you very much.
I mean, I know we do spout a lot of drivel like goats normally do, so maybe that's it.
Yeah. Question is who's the bigger goat in what vibe? Knowing me and you. So.
I mean, in that sense, I'm taller than you, so I think I'll take the bigger goat status.
I'll be the stubby little one then, yeah. All right.
But whilst we could talk about livestock as much as we like, there's a couple of drivers who are out on track, and we're going to follow Owen. And I've not done a flying lap for quite a while, so I'm going to take the reins on this one, if you don't mind, Mikey.
Please be my guest.
All right. Whilst Mikey looks at the championship standings, we head towards turn 1 here. Then on the brakes, down through the gears. Owen deciding to select third gear. You've got a quick left, and then a really important braking zone for the right. Then the left-hander. You've got to get the car nailed through here. Different line for Owen through there. Tight on the inside, and then out onto the further apron of the corner. Up the top of the hill then they go towards turns 5 and 6. Not really any form of a corner, but 7 is a big commitment, and Owen was nice and planted through there. 8, nicely done through that corner, and then down through the gears into third, and that's a really nice line. It's been a very tidy lap thus far. Break at the 50-metre marker board, and of course the commentator's curse puts Owen a little bit deep as he went out of turn number 10. DRS blast down towards the chicane. A tricky corner this with the right and the left. It's very tight. Owen running just a touch deep midway through the corner, but it shouldn't scupper too much of his time. One last braking zone, you've got to really commit to the turn 13, which he does, and it's DRS all the way from here to the main start-finish line. He's got the battery to take him towards the line. It's a 1 minute 9.575. The Tifosi will be pleased to see a time at the top of the board, but Sydney comes towards the line. That's an outlap for Sydney, and Yelagiesin, it's also his home debut tonight as well, don't forget, because Gel is part of the same contingent as the Alpine brothers, and he's currently on provisional part. Yeah, the Dutch contingent, I like that. He's 3/10 quicker than the Ferrari of Owen at the moment, so that's a good opening gambit from the Mercedes driver.
Definitely. Obviously, just to go over our current drivers' standings while we get a few laps on the board. Obviously, first got Sydney, 74 points. Obviously, Beyond the Bjorn on 64. Yelagiesin on 63. No, 53, sorry. My eyes just really bad. Shortbread on 47. Paul Racetech on 40. Sunboy on 37. Merck, who's not with us this evening, 33. Milo on 33 as well. It's a good chance of jumping up a few spaces this evening. Obviously, AOL 31. Ashtube, his teammate, on 26. Owen on 24. Stinos 23. Ruddo, obviously, who's unfortunately not with us this evening, on 18. Ivan on 13. Nathan on 12. Nitro on 12. Kent also on 10. Ginger Tiger on 8. And Bruce with 1, with all the other people who've taken part on 0 points.
Yeah. It's a fascinating championship we've got lining up, because, you know, Bjorn de Boer, he's third at the moment with a 109.4. We did see Sydney go fastest with a 109 flat, but Bjorn de Boer has just been steadily taking points away from Sydney. And that gap now, 10 points, am I right in saying, Mikey, in the drivers' standings between the two? The top two?
Just double check that. Yes, between
10
the top
points.
two, it's 10.
Yeah, I mean, with 4 rounds to go and 2 sprint evenings to come, you know, these two, for Sydney and Beyond the Board, there's a proper title fight on here. And I think if anyone else wants to get involved, they've got to make their moves, I think, in this race. And I'd say the last chance they've... Yeah, it's either this race or the next one, I think. I think with the sprint being there, with us still having 2 for Tier 1, just opens the door just a chance.
To see what they can sort of... what little points you can sort of get your hands on. Obviously, the Alpine lads are leading the championship in the constructors with 97. Mercedes, which is Yelagiesin and Sunboy, on 90. Williams with Shortbread and Merck on 80. Sydney and Typhon on 74. Paul Racetech and Stinos on 63. AOL and Ashub in the Race of Bulls on 57. The Tifosi of Owen and Ruddo on 42. Obviously, Ivan and Kent in the Sauber on 23. Nitro and Ginger on 20 points in the McLaren. And Nathan and Gattuso on 12 in the Aston Martin.
Cool. So that's good to know for everybody in terms of the standings. We've still got just under 11 minutes to go. I've been following Sunboy in the Mercedes. I don't believe he's on a flying lap at the moment, because I think he's about to run out of petrol. So I think he's just going to bail into the pits. But I just wanted to see the amount of pace he was putting into that car to get home. But I tell you, someone who is pushing on a lap, it's Milo de Boer in the Alpine. Can he get himself into the mix? He can. He's on the second row of the grid, so good opening flying lap for the Alpine to go on the second row alongside his brother. And the key here is that for those two in the Constructors' Championship, like you were saying, Mikey, you know, they might not be overhauling Sydney and co, but for the Constructors' Championship between Alpine and Mercedes, and even Williams as well, there's only a couple of points in it. It's really close. So they've got to just keep chipping away at it, and this is a big round to do with him.
Yeah, obviously, especially being the obviously home advantage for the Dutch guys. So with 7 points in front of Mercedes, and obviously,
I think Williams are 17 back, aren't they?
yeah, but obviously Alpine at the top by
Yeah.
7 points from, and then obviously I think there's a bit of a drop. Double chest on safe side. Sorry.
Yeah. So
Yeah, so 97 is Alpine, 90 for the Mercedes, and then another 10 for the Williams guys.
yeah, they're not too far away, Williams. I mean, to be fair, Shortbread has done a lot of the heavy lifting whilst Merck's not been here. I was speaking to Merck, actually, for those that are wondering where, IRL's resident alien has been for quite a while. For those that don't know Merck, for the Steps, good evening to you, Steps, and everybody else who's in the chat. For those that aren't aware, Merck, he's actually had a bit of an injury to his foot. And obviously, Merck uses load cell pedals, so if he's trying to work the pedals with his foot being sore, it's just going to aggravate it. So he's not been around for a while. And we are hoping our alien comes back. We do miss him. He was exceptionally quick. But that's why he's not been around for a few weeks. There's been a few other drivers in Tier 1 who've missed out for long-term reasons. The Gattuso's another driver who was our champion of IRL last year, and he can't make it because he's, got an injury too. So we've had a few long-termers who are normally here. They're just out, which is a bit unfortunate, but we'll soldier on, and Sydney is soldiering on. He's on his second flying effort, and he's properly attacking the track right now.
Yeah, to be fair, I think Sydney needs a good race tonight after what happened last week in Miami.
Yeah.
It was very unlucky in a few instances. So.
He also had a car that didn't really look as dialed in as we normally expect him to have it. It was very oversteery. But this lap so far, yeah, it was surprising. You're right, Mikey. But this lap so far is looking very, very competent. He's got the battery, he's got the DRS wide open. Let's see his sector 2 time. He's absolutely flying. He's 3/10 up on his best lap so far. He's going to dip into the 1:08, which is just showing you the Haas team have got one hell of a lead driver. ARL, I'll explain what's happening with ARL in a moment. But Sydney is going to come towards the start-finish line as Jelgisen goes into second, but that's a 1:08.6, and that is incredibly quick for the number 15, who leads the driver's standings, and he needed a lap like that.
Definitely, just he needs to get that. Obviously, as much points because what's it? I think he's
10 points clear of Bjorn, yeah.
No, but 23 behind him in the teams.
And the constructors out for Haas.
Yeah. So obviously anything they can get their hands on. Obviously with him basically with them being the lone driver at the moment. So
yeah, that's certainly true. As Sunboy comes around the final corner at turn number 14, he's got a bit of battery to play with, does Sunboy, as he blasts towards the line. He moves into the top 10. Field is quite close at the moment. If you take Sydney out of the equation, it's 1.2 between Gel in second place and Nitro in 12th. So Nitro right on the back of this field, which he'll feel a little bit more encouraged by as he follows the Williams of Shortbread into the pit. Shortbread, of course, taking his first race victory last week at Miami, which was great for him to see as Paul Racetech moves up to third place. This is another driver I've talked about a few times, Paul and Gel. Shortbread joined the race winners list. Can these two do that tonight? Can they make an impression on Sydney? It's going to be hard because Sydney's looking strong, but don't rule it out. Never know what might come about here at Zandvoort.
Oh no, definitely after Paul's performance last week at Miami, it was really impressive. So if you can carry that into tonight's race, that'll be absolutely brilliant. But like we said last week, is obviously the performance he's had in the past few races, because you don't forget he only joined after the start of the season. He's brilliant. So
Right, absolutely, absolutely. We've got a bunch of drivers in the pits. The two Mercedes are just queuing in the pit lane at the moment. Stinos on what looks to be a flying lap. He's got the battery going as he sweeps his way through turns number 5, 6, and subsequently number 7. Maximum commitment through there. That's a cracking shot as the car flies through the right-hander. One thing I wanted to briefly mention, I did touch upon this, as ARL. He's having some massive internet issues. Apparently his Wi-Fi in the UAE has been limited for a few people for region cut reasons. He's managed to get back into the lobby. He's hoping it fixes itself when he's out on circuit. So fingers crossed for ARL. He's in 13th. He's not yet set a time. He's another driver, I think, this season who should be on it. And what have you seen, Mike?
Owens spun it after the DRS.
Is that on the exit turn 10, is it? As Stinos goes into P4, that's a good effort.
Yeah, as he's coming around the hairpin, I think he might have just went on the grass a little bit and he's just lost it.
Yeah. Not ideal, but any damage?
Not from what I can see, mate.
No, it looks okay, doesn't it? I've just cut to Owen myself then. He's okay. He's fine. Put a band-aid on it, we'll carry on.
Yeah.
Put a plaster on it. Kent in the top 10. A question from Giuseppe Yacitti. He said, when will the new season be launched? Well, it's a good job we've got our director with us of Invictus Racing League in the form of Mikey RK13. Mikey, I know that plans are afoot, aren't they? But we haven't announced them yet.
That's correct, yeah. We are in discussions with other members of the management team. Obviously, we want to sort of get near to the end of the season before we start releasing information. So, but obviously, any information that will be released will be either on the socials and on the Discord.
Yeah.
So, hopefully, we'll have some more news for you in the next 3 weeks going forward.
Cool. There you go. That's your news for you, Giuseppe. Hopefully that answers your question. If you're looking to get involved, do get involved anyway. You know, you're more than happy to come and join us. Sydney's retired from the pit. I think he's done a lap time and he's just gone, I can't go any quicker than that. I've nailed it.
I just see retired as like, who's crashed?
It is always an instinct, isn't it? You think, is someone gone? But you have to always check that track map. That's where you got to look. ARL's out. Car looks all right to me. Paul has sent me an invite. Thank you, Paul, just in case I disconnect. That's appreciated. Well, he likes me.
Fair enough.
But yeah, Giuseppe, if you want to get involved, feel free to do so through our Discord. We've got our social media as well. I think you can access it on the YouTube page from where you are at the moment. It should have all the links on the home screen as ARL weaves across the start-finish line. I think he's just trying to see if he's got any latency issues, which is why he's weaving so much. So this isn't going to be a valid lap, but I tell you who is on a valid lap, Mikey. Beyond the ball. Mikey has disappeared into the ether. But Bjorn, the number 95, has started his lap. This is important for him. This is really important for his championship chances. Again, taking that tighter line. You know, in Formula 1, we see them taking that banked corner a lot higher up. But in this game, it's still that tighter line that seems to be quite fast. Up through the gears, down into... Well, actually, short shift into 8th there, does Bjorn. That's a fascinating gear to take through the right-hander at 7. Commits to turn 6. Yeah, I think he's backed off. That would make sense. That would make sense for the Alpine. He's backed out of it. His brother, I think, has also backed out of it too. They're not on their laps yet. Or they've made a mistake and they're going round again. So a couple of drivers who we've tried to find. What about Nitro? Looks like he's on a lap in the McLaren. Had a little bit of misfortune at times as Nitro. I think he'd also say that the lobby he's in is a bit of a misfortune for him, and I think that's a fair assessment. But Nitro is on a good lap here. He's improving at the moment. He's going to come into the penultimate corner, down into 5th, over the curb. The car just gets a little bit unsettled. Hopefully that doesn't cost him too much momentum as he comes towards the line. I'd love to see him get into the high 1 minute 9s if he can. He's just outside of it. He's 1,000th of a second slower. So that little mistake he made as he gets it all wrong into the turn 1. He, sadly, he's missed out on improving there. So that's a shame. But Nitro will continue. The ball's now going on to a flying lap, so that's important for him. I'm just trying to cycle through the cars that we've got around on track. Paul Racetech has seen the checkered flag. He won't improve, so that's as high as he's going to start. ARL has managed to get underway. He's 8 seconds up on his best time at the moment, which is not that difficult if I'm being honest, but he is on a flying left. Considering this is probably going to be the one lap he gets, I don't know if it's going to be enough to get him off the back row. We'll see as he comes towards the start-finish. I was wrong, it was. Well done to ARL. He moves up into 11th place. Bjorn goes up to 2nd. That's an important lap time. What about Owen, the next driver to come across the start-finish line? That's 5th place. Yeah, good effort. I think Shortbread's next. And he's in the pits. He's done. He's not going to improve. Ash Tube will be the next. Yeah, Ash Tube next, Mikey.
P7.
Good effort.
That's a Mercedes. Probably Jalgisen.
It will be.
Oh, no.
His teammate. Who moves up. So it's just a Nitro set his lap, so he's done. He's not going to go any quicker. So Gel is the only one who can prove. Can he get into the 1 minute 8 like Beyond the Board did and like Sydney did? Down. He's done. Wow. It's still a good qualifying effort from him. He's still on the 2nd row of the grid, but Sydney has got himself a 3/10th advantage over his championship rival.
Definitely. Apologies for me just disappearing for 2 seconds. I had to go fix something.
What could be more important than Invictus Racing League on a Monday night, I wonder?
The front door.
The front fell off. Bjorn's going to come across the line. There we go. He's gone into 2nd place. I think we're just waiting for Gel to be officially confirmed as being back in the pit lane before the game cycle's over. Good qualifying session, that though.
Really good from what I've seen, to be fair. Quite close actually, to be fair, as well. 1.5 seconds between Nitro and Sydney.
Yeah, so let's go through these these qualifying results. It's an all Dutch front three with Sydney, Bjorn de Boer and Jalgisen taking those 3 spaces. And it's the Red Bulls in Paul Racetech and Stinos rounding out the top 5. Owen in the Sol Ferrari is 6 with Ash Cheeb and Milo de Boer bringing up the rest of the Dutch contingency on row number 4. Shortbread and Kent are on row 5 with ARL running the French flag in 11th with Sunboy, the last of the Dutch drivers, in 12th place, and Nitro just outside of the points scoring positions in 13th place. Paul saying, can I get another invite? He got kicked out. That would make sense as to why he invited me back in. We will both do that for you, Paul. We'll try and get you back in. Hello to everyone who's watching. There's quite a lot of you, actually, which is really nice to see. We'll invite Paul. Paul should be able to get control of his car, I think.
He should be able to be fair.
So there's one for you, Paul. You can see that on the screen. That's gone through to you, mate. Hopefully you can get back in, because you've got a good qualifying effort there.
And obviously it'll save us. There he goes back in.
Fabulous.
So he'll have to set up as well. So
yeah, that's important. That's a really good point, actually, Mikey. He's going to get his set up, which is crucial for round here. Yeah, everybody is in. Just coming back to the comments, Steps asking, is it a 50% race? Yep, it is. 50%. All of our races at Invictus Racing League are 50% races that we have, unless we've got a sprint week, in which case we've got a sprint race and then a 50% race, is how we describe that. Gel's saying he was 2/10 up and then went wide, touched the grass. Could have been on the front row.
I suppose that's the joys of Zandvoort, though, mate.
It is.
Littlest of mistakes, it'll just destroy your whole lap and your race, to be fair.
Yeah, because it's an old school circuit as well. There isn't much room in the way of runoff. You know, we've got turn 1, but even still, that's quite a limited area by F1 standards for runoff. And I think the other thing as well is that where we are in the Netherlands, obviously we are like by the North Sea pretty much. You know, the track as a result is quite unique with the tarmac the way that the sand is always blown in off the beaches, and the wind nature can always affect the cars whilst the drivers are out on circuit. We know that the game simulates a little bit of this. It's not fully detailed. It's not, of course, a full-blown sim racing title, and that's not me being mean. That's just how it's categorized. But it does do that, so the drivers will feel a little bit, and if there's any differences between qualifying and the race, you're going to notice it if your setup's slightly wrong.
Indeed. Well, one question I've got for you, Jav. As you like to do this to me.
Yeah.
What is your setup, like downforce for around here?
Yeah.
And who's going to win?
I will answer your two questions after I've answered the steps question, which is formation lap on? And the correct answer is yes, it is.
Yes.
Just so you know, Steps. And also Shortbread, who's an old friend of his from the Gavra days, has said hello, which is just what we want to see. It's really nice to get communities back together. To answer your questions, Mike, in terms of a setup around here, in truth, it's quite a hard track to set up for because of the long back straight. Most drivers, I think, would run a higher downforce setting because of everywhere between turn 1 and turn 14. I feel like that's probably the strategy that I will take for tomorrow's race in Tier 2. I think having a higher downforce setup will help. Obviously, we don't know the weather, so you never know, it could rain. But if that were to happen, I'd still run a higher downforce setup anyway. We're about to get started shortly. To answer your second question, who am I going to predict? I've got to go with Sydney, I think. I think it's just because he did 2 efforts and then just quit after his second one. I think that shows the level of confidence he has. So I'm going to back Sydney. I'd love to see, from neutral perspective, I'd love to see someone else win because I just like a close drivers' championship. But that's just me inviting a bit of chaos. That's what that is.
Yeah, can't go wrong with that, can you?
No.
It's just going to make it interesting sometimes. But if I remember, we talked about this the other week. We've had a different winner in every single race so far. So can we keep it going? That is the question.
It's gonna be really challenging. I think if we look back through the race winners that we've had, you're looking at either Gel to get a race victory or Paul Race Tech to carry that sequence on. It is incredible when you think about it. I know that people might look at the lobby size and think, wow, there's 13 drivers. It's not as many as you would see in Tier 2, which is regularly quite full. But but to have 6 races into a 10-race championship and have had 6 different race winners just shows you the competitiveness of Tier 1. Really, and as the formation lap is about to get underway, I think that was Paul creeping forward. It is, he's going now. But it's a fabulous promotion for the league, and I admit that there's quite a lot of drivers here who are especially fast, and there are a couple of drivers who are a little bit irked by that, and they feel that at times they perhaps should be in the other tier, but equally, those drivers who have been a little bit irked by it this season, they're going to get their chance in the other tier next season. There's a reason why we have drivers from Tier 2 get promoted into Tier 1. There's a reason why we can look at drivers in Tier 1 and go, well, maybe they should be in Tier 2. We're flexible, aren't we, Mike? That's the whole point.
Yeah, obviously, you've got to be fair.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's people that are faster in, obviously, the lower tier than guys in the faster tier. It's sort of like football. You have a few promotions, a few relegations. Don't see it as a relegation as such, but it's more just we want to have people enjoy themselves.
Yeah.
In the league, so we don't want it to feel like because you did good in one race or whatever, you're stuck here. Obviously, each season, all our data collated is looked into, and then we sort of try and make it as fair as possible.
Yeah.
Because obviously, without our drivers, we don't have a league.
No.
So
You're so right, Mike.
So
This has been quite a quick formation lap from Sydney. Actually, he's really gone on with it and he's dropped the whole grid. To be honest, I think he's actually moving into Eastern Europe at this rate compared to everyone else. But he wants to get on with it. He wants to get a move on. And just before we get started, strategy looks fascinating. We've got a very big mix of medium and hard. So 7 drivers on the mediums, 6 on the hards.
it's quite an interesting allocation of who's picked what, though. If you look at, obviously, you've got a front 3. Oh, Bjorn has missed the spot.
Yeah, it's going to be set back a little bit in his grid slot, isn't he?
Oh,
And
so
Owen.
is Owen. So obviously you've got a front 3 on mediums, then so many on hards, then so many on mediums. It's not like a set.
No, it absolutely isn't. There's no real purity. There's no real semblance to it. But we're going to have the 5 red lights here for Zandvoort. And the race is live here in the Netherlands. There's a Red Bull stranded at the start of the grid, but it's going to be Sydney blasting towards turn 1 in the lead of the Grand Prix. Beyond the ball, right behind him as well. We've got a yellow flag back there, but I think that's just for Paul's car. He's now underway, so I'm not sure what's gone on with the Red Bull driver, but Sydney leads. Bjorn's following him and tracking him quite nicely. Gel is third. Those 3, big snap of oversteer and a little bit of contact between Stinos and Ashtube. Ashtube has to slot right back in, but he wants to get past the Red Bull. He's going to be on the inside at turn 7. He's on the grass. It's so close. They wheel to diffuser, but somehow they're just about getting away with it. Stinos, though, makes contact as a result of the wheel into the side of his side pod and down through the field he goes, and then there goes the racing bull of Ashtube. He got through and he's spun off all by himself.
What a mad start to this race so far.
Wow. Paul has retired. Something has happened to Paul's car. I'm not sure. It's such a shame. He'd had such a good qualifying. So we're all looking now towards Gel to get a race victory to make it 7 races with 7 different winners. But those front 3 are gone. They're absolutely up the road. Milo's on his own in 4th. And then Owen's got a lovely DRS train behind him already as we go on to lap 2. Stinos.
Sorry.
Go on, Mike.
I'd say, can you just take notice that Nitro's gone from the back and just sort of tiptoed his way through to 9th so far?
Crackered start.
Which is a really good start for Nitro. Because I know it's not really been the easiest of seasons for him and his teammate. So it's good to see a little bit of luck on the first lap going his way. Oh, what's happened at the front?
Sydney, the championship leader's off the road. Wow, we didn't catch it. We were watching Nitro, but Sydney has gone off. He's gone off at a really awkward corner, actually. He's gone off at turn 8, but he's been swallowed.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. The first part of the double right-hander. He's underneath the rear wing of Shortbread. He's going to look to the outside of the chicane. That's brave. That's really brave. But that is a brilliant move from the Haas. He's going to crowd Shortbread out. He knows he had to get back past there because Shortbread's on the hard tyres. Stinos is trying to go around the outside at turn 13. They're going to be side by side through the bank turn. Look at this. Kent getting in on the action as well. DRS is open. Shortbread getting hung out to dry. Jella Geeson's moved into the lead. It's all kicking off in the opening 3 laps.
Kent go for the inside.
Kent get it wrong. No, Shortbread trying to go up the inside as well. Mikey, take over. I can't breathe.
What do you mean you can't breathe? I can't. Speed of the pit lane 10 seconds for Ashtube. Did he have damage, did he?
Yes,
wings
no
gone.
front wing, yeah. Well, whilst that was happening, Bjorn de Boer and Jella Geeson swapped places for first position. So Bjorn leads, Jell is in second. Milo de Boer has just very quietly moved himself up 5 places to third. What a start. And the Alpine team are going to be rubbing their hands together with glee if it finishes like this. Owen's in 4th. Do not rule out Sydney because he might have had a mistake. And I'm going to say it was a mistake because we didn't see what it was. We don't know it. I don't think anyone was close enough to him for it to be a collision. I could be wrong. And I'm sure if there is a problem, we'll get that sorted in the steward's room tomorrow. But Sydney is going to go for this, I think, Mikey.
Geeson's got Bjorn.
Yeah.
Sydney's also got Owen.
Yeah,
into
big
turn
move.
1.
big move that for Sydney. He needed to get on with it because that mistake it's cost him 6 seconds to the race leader. So he's got a bit of time. He can pull that gap back if he shows the pace that he did in qualifying. Then absolutely he can close the gap back to Jell and Bjorn. But Mikey, he's got an Alpine in between himself and Bjorn, hasn't he?
Yeah, Bjorn's got his rear gunner on his rear for him, so he's also got to find what 3.2 seconds. So, but at the same time, Milo doesn't have DRS off Bjorn, so it's let's see really what happens. But
yeah,
just not gone well for Sydney around the right into the left hairpin.
And what did you see?
Obviously, just off the end, just a little bit of gravel going over it. So
not ideal. As Bjorn is trying to go all the way around the outside of the Mercedes. A little bit of oversteer on the exit of the corner. They're very close together, but Jell giving no quarter, and he stays ahead of one of the championship protagonists. I just have a feeling, I'm going to say this out loud for everyone who's listening, I have a feeling that I know these two both want to win their home Grand Prix. Look at this, he's going to go to the inside of turn 7. I was going to say you're going to both end up in the North Sea if you try that move. They really, if you know that Sydney has made a mistake and it's the championship leader, my logic would be thinking, let's work together and try and pull away. Because I think if you
save tyres,
save your tyres.
Ooh, look with tyres, wheel spin there. Sorry.
I just think they've got to play this smart, and I think they're both thinking, I want to win my home race, and that's fine. I like it, but I'm thinking championship-wise. That's what I'm thinking.
Don't get me wrong, I respect it. Because not being funny, if it was Silverstone,
yeah,
and you were in the same position,
yeah, of course.
Not saying I'd be that high up the order.
No.
But you know, a man can dream. Oh, there you go. Oh, just a little bit of road there on the left-hand side. He's got the move done this time though.
But, no, going
if
past.
If it was this way round, it would.
Yeah, he's got to move them.
Yeah, people would say the same. You know,
if you were British, yeah.
The home Grand Prix. So
this becomes a race of two halves now, doesn't it? Because Sydney is closing the gap to Milo de Boer a little bit. It's not a massive. Yeah, it's not. It's a couple attempts per lap. He's pulling back, but I think Milo is dropping time to the front two as well. He's pushing, isn't he, Sydney?
Yeah.
He's really pushing. But the other race that we've got going on is for 5th, because Owen's just been overtaken by Stinos. And don't forget, those 4 drivers, Stinos, Owen, Kent and Shortbread, they're all running the hard tyre. They're on a different strategy. We've seen drivers saying a one-stop is probably going to be the rule of the day. We've seen a couple of others saying a 2-stop, if a safety car comes out, someone might try that. So that is also in the mix. We'll wait and see. There's quite a long way to go. We're only on lap 7.
Definitely. I don't want to write Nitro off though, because he's literally so close to the RS. Obviously,
has he got a broken front wing? He has. He's got a front right wing end plate damaged, and I think. Correct. I could be wrong here, but before I saw Nitro was just about struggling to stay on the back of them, and I thought to myself, he's on the medium tyres, he should be able to keep up, but that would explain it, because he's going to be losing so many points of downforce as a result of the wing damage. For Nitro, that's quite tricky. Kent on the back of Owen there, but not quite close enough. But Kent, the resident chaos artist, right with Owen. I'm sure if these two have a little bit of side-by-side ding-dong, they'll like to have a laugh about it after the race.
Yeah, obviously, just looking at the chat here, obviously Paul's actually left a message in regards to what happened.
What happened?
Sorry for that. He had no control between being a spectator or in control of his car. Nothing he could do.
That is a shame.
That's quite a shame compared. Was he top 3?
Yeah, he was,
wasn't he? So,
he was in the top 4, qualified in 4th place, but he's really been impressive this season since he joined the championship, and I'm saddened that he's out. To to be honest, because I think he would have been another dynamic to have added into this front duo fight. Speaking of fight, Milo's going to have to be doing a bit for his teammate because Sydney has arrived, and that gap's less than half a second, and Sydney looks... I'm just looking at the way the cars are moving, and I think Milo's car is just... It's sliding a little bit more, and I'm just wondering, is it just the way the car's set up that way, or is tyre wear starting to become a factor this early in the race?
Could be both.
Or is Sydney just absolutely nailing it? I think it's a mixture of all of that.
Could be. Just thinking about it, but I think if I'm going to stay on board with Sydney.
Yeah. Tell us it from your perspective, Mike. We're on board. You go.
Alright, so on the bank right, going flat onto the main straight. Obviously, going to go on the outside. Oh, bit of a lot. Oh, contact. Not too much, but we're going well. Going into turn 2, into turn 3, into turn 4, long left-hander. Using the bank. Oh, little wheel spin there. Give Milo a bit of breathing room. Obviously, into 6, into 7, long right-hander. 8, 9, and then into 10 for the second right-hander.
Yeah.
Then it's coming towards 11, hairpin left. Obviously, this is where Sydney's going to have some DRS. So we'll just see what happens here. You've got to be very ballsy to go for this into 12, 13, long left-hander again. There's the other DRS split. And then obviously coming around 40.
Oh, no! Milo is out. He's hit the barrier and the safety car's deployed. And you know what? That is a dream scenario for Sydney. He's so lucky that Milo's car ghosted. I wasn't expecting it. But he's so fortunate that that's just happened because he'd have been out. He is so lucky. I mean, if you want to praise the racing gods as ARL gets a drive-through penalty for speeding under the safety car, I think that's a bit of a weird penalty to get, actually.
Bit harsh.
But he is so lucky, and I think he'll be praising the racing gods for that. One thing I will say is that Bjorn de Boer and Gel were both in front of the safety car, so they're not going to lose time as a result of this, as a result of the Haas going into the pits for Sydney. So they will stay in front, but Milo de Boer was doing it. He knew the objective, he knew the brief, he was doing it, and then sadly he found the barrier.
I think he's just caught the cabin on the left-hand side from the looks of it. And obviously, but then Sydney nearly did the same thing. So how Sydney somehow managed to keep it going, and like you said, was lucky with the ghosting. So,
it looked like, from what I was watching whilst you were talking, Sydney had a snap of oversteer, but I think he had a snap of oversteer as a result of him watching Milo de Boer having a massive break of traction. Because I think Milo's got on the outside curb, as we watched Stinos go around the right-hander at 13, I think Milo's gone on the curb, the wheels have spun up, he's gone right, corrected it, and then planted the wall. So
yeah, well, Sydney's coming round it now, into 40.
He's definitely going to come out.
If they've got on that curb, I think he's because he kept too much to the left.
Mm.
And it's just, see you later. And just chucked them out.
Yeah, I think that's right, Mikey. I have to agree with you. Is Stinos going to get out in front of? No, he's going to be behind. This is a nightmare for the drivers who started on the hard tyres because they were hoping for a later safety car than this, but this is really going to jeopardise them. I don't think their tyres are going to last 25 laps, so they're going to have to pit again. ARL's on the softs, but I have a feeling he's doing his own thing at the moment, considering his connection issues. Astrid will be delighted because he'll be back in the fight. I think he'll want to try and catch up to the safety car, though, before he thinks about pitting again. But the only driver not to pit is Shortbread, who's got the lead of the race. So Shortbread hoping for, I'm going to assume, another safety car later down the line.
I'd imagine so, but obviously obviously being the lead car now, you could sort of, obviously when they get the all clear to get the safety car back in, to get it back up to racing speed, he can dictate obviously what happens. They can't pass until that line.
No.
So in theory, Shortbread could slow this all up. In theory,
He could.
um,
I think Sydney will be happy though because he's back with the leading duo. That's what he'll have wanted, you know. If we were still under green flag conditions now, he was stuck behind Milo de Boer. We saw how Milo in that first attempt when Sydney tried to overtake him, how aggressive he was on the brakes to keep that car behind. Sydney doesn't have that problem now. He can go toe to toe with the Alpine and the Mercedes, so they're going to be happy. Shortbread's strategy is interesting because I think of all the tracks that we've got on the calendar this season, on a track that hasn't got the worst tyre wear, and there aren't that many overtaking opportunities, conventional ones, Shortbread might have a better chance at defending this lead for a lap or two. I think when DRS activates, he's going to be a sitting duck. But at least on the opening lap, he should be able to keep hold of first place unless Bjorn or Gel get the hop on him.
especially around sector 1, to be fair. Obviously, where it's very, obviously, quite fast paced, but also quite technical. So, obviously, if you feel you can go for a move, and obviously there is the space, fair enough. But obviously, I think the obvious places is obviously DRS in sector 2, going into, obviously, at the end of sector 2, sorry. And obviously the main straight.
Yeah. I mean, those are really the conventional overtaking spots.
Yeah.
Just waiting to see if the safety car's called in, but I don't think it will be.
I don't
Normally the
think so,
safety car line is about here, but it's carried
Yeah.
on. So, yeah, and like you were about to say, Mike, Ash is still not on the back of this train. We do have 2 drive-through penalties for Stenos and ARL to serve. I did catch the end of Stenos' drive-through penalty. I wonder if he got a delta and it just flashed up for him, because I saw him braking, but then he got the penalty and he sped up again. So, a bit of an odd one, that, for the Red Bull.
Do you reckon it might have been like what happened to myself at Miami, though?
Yeah,
I know that was
potentially.
virtual, but even I remember saying to you at the time, not sure how I've missed it, there's nothing there. And then when you look back at the footage, it's there.
It's there, but it's small. Yeah, it could be. It could be
Compared
a
to the
mistake like that.
previous iterations of the game,
Yeah.
where it was, you would have safety car, or obviously virtual safety car, and then this is now ending. But it obviously doesn't give you that notification anymore. Which I think is a bit sneaky. But, fair enough.
Speaking of sneaky, I didn't see it, but I've just watched the timing page change. AshTube is ahead of ARL. Now I wonder. And I'm just, and this is no. Well, AshTube is pitted on that last lap, but I wonder. We have no evidence of this, people, so we can't. We're not gonna be tin hat foil conspiracy theorists. But I wonder if ARL has gone off the track. Because if he's gone off the track legally, you can overtake another car, and those two are teammates. I'm not saying it's fair, but it is something that could have happened. I'm not saying it has. Safety car in this lap. Let's put the tinfoil hats down, ladies and gentlemen. We've got Shortbread at the front of the train. And can he hang on now that he slows right down? The pace has come down to a crawl. But that's what he's got to do. He's got to let the safety car go.
Question, when is he going to go? Is he going to go halfway around the bank? Or as he comes into this corner?
Boys. The safety car's only just going onto the main straight now, so Shortbread not letting them go. I wonder if he's just going to continue easing up.
It's in.
It's in now, so he can go if he wants.
But he's
not gone yet. He's still not gone.
I like this.
It's really. I mean, look at the grid. The grid is so. Now he goes.
Oh, he's gone.
Now he goes. And he's got a decent enough launch, and Bjorn's under pressure. He's going to hang on to it. Stinos is under pressure from Owen, though, for 5th place.
Ooh.
Side by side between Gel and Bjorn de Boer. This is an important move. They're on the grass together. Side by side into 2 and then turn 3. Watch out for Sydney behind. He could do something if he gets an opportunity. Gel's on the outside line. He's going to have better traction off the corner. Snap of oversteer for Sydney, who'll be riding on board. But Gel holds 2nd place. He gets the move completed. And that's a big move if he wants to become the 7th driver in 7 races to win a race, because that was a big overtake, and fair dues to the pair of them. They've kept it clean.
That was a good start, to be fair, from Shortbread. Catch everyone off by guard and just go for it. Because I think a lot of people were expecting to go on the banking. So to leave it as late as possible, he's given himself, what, half a second going into this corner here, and obviously just gives him a chance to at least form a defensive line
with Kent and Ash Tube. Ash has been trying to get past for Kent for the last couple of corners, but he's not found that way through. So Ash Tube back in the race and back into the competitive action now that he's got a front wing again. Right. He's going for it.
He's going to go for it. Is he going left or right? He's going to go to the right. It's the inside line. Can he hold it?
He can.
Yeah. Obviously, Shortbread makes sure Bjorn can't get through as well.
Kent's facing the wrong way. Sorry to interrupt you, Mikey. I think him and Ashtube have made contact at turn 1. I don't think Kent's got damage. I can't quite tell. But unfortunately, the Sauber was facing the wrong way. I think it was wheel-to-wheel contact, but those two were very close. And now, Kent, sadly, facing the wrong way. But that's a big move for Gel. And that's the perfect time to do it, because Shortbread doesn't have the tyre grip that Gel has. And to add to that, he's got himself between Bjorn and Gel can go, right, I'm going to fire off into the distance. And by the time Bjorn gets through, Bjorn won't have DRS on Gel. Look at this, he's already almost a second clear.
Definitely, obviously, but now you've also got Sydney, who's literally sort of biting at the bit, but then Owens and Asu right behind on the softer compound. So they're going to be wanting to do as much as they can on the medium compound as they can before the tyre just dag.
Here comes Bjorn. That's a nice move into 2nd place.
Not very much he could have done there, unfortunately, for Shortbread.
No, that's what I said before, wasn't it, about the safety car? He'll survive for a lap, but then he's not going to fall down like a stone. It'll just be lap after lap. He'll get overtaken rather than all in a couple of corners. So, Owen, look at this. Owen all over the rear spoiler of Sydney. This is exactly what he doesn't want right now. You can see his championship rival's got a car between himself and the Haas. He wants to get through. He doesn't want to be defending from Owen. But in these next couple of corners, Sydney has just pulled away. But Sydney's got to get past Shortbread so that he can build a gap to the Ferrari behind.
Yeah, obviously both these cars are lone runners for this evening. So they're going to be doing everything they can to get as much points as possible. So obviously with Owen at least pushing as much as he can, it's sort of a double-edged blade in way for Sydney, because he can go for an attack, he has to make it stick. But if he doesn't, Owen's going to go for no. Ooh. Very, very close from Owen then.
He just about got away with it. I think he just about backed out.
Ashu thought the door was open, went for it. Owen shut it closed.
Owen's using the battery in a different place to everybody else. He's thought about this a little bit. I've noticed everyone saving battery between turn number 3 and then through up to 6. And they're losing quite a lot of time that people aren't realising. And Owen is taking advantage of this and getting a little bit of a run on a few drivers. But he now has to get past Shortbread, who is, as I say, lap by lap, just falling backwards. But if he can hang on to the group, watch him out on the medium tyres later if we get a safety car. But it's working against him at the minute.
No, obviously going up front with our top 3. Well, 2 Dutch contingents, followed by Sydney. Owen not too far behind, but
And Shortbread.
obviously got the move on Shortbread, but obviously
Yeah.
Shortbread's unfortunately lost to both Astube as well.
I
Nice little
think,
move from Astube to be fair, going into turn 1.
yeah. So those two go past Shortbread in one go, and I think Shortbread's race now in his mind is going to be a case of please come for a safety car, otherwise I'm going to be in trouble. Sorry, apologies about that. Sunboy is in seventh.
Sorry,
Yeah,
1 minute 12.
Yeah, he's on soft tyres at the back of the grid, so that's good news for him. I think Nitro's hit the wall, Mikey. I'm just looking at his front wing end plate again. He was right with Sunboy. He was less than a second behind, and now the gap's up to 4. And I just wonder if he's hit the wall again. I was just about to praise him and say he's had a really strong race so far, but he's losing time hand over fist. And I think I think he's gone into the wall. Not sure how, but sadly he's dropped him out of it.
Obviously, Ken's now chipping away at that time on him now. So the question is, will Nitro come in? Because it'll be 7 seconds. So he'll be at the back. By the time he's got a new wing on, and he'll have to put new tyres on. Oh no, he's still going.
I think his strategy is to try and take those hards as long as he can. The other question now that we all have is those drivers that started on the mediums and pitted on lap 11 with the safety car, can they take the hards 25 laps to the end? Now we don't know. We single-handedly do not know if the hard tyre can do 25 laps. We can't make predictions one way or the other. But surely someone on the grid, whether it's Bjorn, Gel, Sydney, Sunboy or Nitro, must be thinking to themselves, if I can just stroke the car home, the amount of time I can save by not making a pit stop could be worth it. But here we go.
I've got a feeling the front 3 would be the ones who sort of have that information as such. So, do you reckon Bjorn's going to be in turn P1, obviously coming out of T1?
Yeah, I think so. I think he's far enough ahead from Gel. I'm just watching. Oh, Kent, you were very, very fortunate to get away with that. He almost did what Milo de Boer did, but Kent goes past Nitro, and Kent's Sauber race continues on for another lap. But that was so close. I just saw the bottom of the car get suctioned onto the curb, and I thought that was going to be another accident and a safety car. But Kent gets away with it, and he's into the top 8. Bjorn still leads from Gel, from Sydney. Owen just hanging on in there with that 1 second gap. Ashtube is just on the precipice of that, but he's just dropped out of it. So he's in 5th place, and I think those two are on the mediums are going to have to stop again. I can't see them getting to the end, but the hard tyres is the big question.
I think they'll have to stop them.
You think the hard tyres will have to stop?
Yeah. I think if they got the tyres for at least 15 flat,
then they could do 21 laps.
Yeah, you could chance it. But
you think 26 is too far?
If this game's taught me anything, you can't think like 23 and 24.
Yeah. When
you could try and do that little strategies. But Stenos has just made the move on Nitro for turn 1.
I wonder if Nitro is thinking to himself, now that I'm back here, is it worth me making a pit stop? I'm not certain. I'm also wondering as well, just off the top of my head, if he didn't select yes on the front wing damage when he came into the pits before to make that stop.
No, it was on the right hand side.
Was it on the right end plate? So it
was the right end plate first, and now it's the left end plate.
Well, if you fancy being a track marshal at Zandvoort and you want a corner of a McLaren, feel free to pop on in game. There'll be one around. There'll be 2. Yeah, you pick whichever corner you'd like. And
just get the main wing, and you've got a full setup. Happy days.
Yeah, pretty much. Max Wing come to a F125 game near you. The top 4 are all in shot though, as they blast onto lap 22. Lap 22 already. We're 2/3 of the way into this race. It's absolutely hurtling along, yeah, at an abated pace. I've got to say, Owen is doing a good job.
Some boy just move on. Shortbread going into turn 1.
I tell you, this is where we get our information from. Shortbread has done 21 laps on those hard tyres, and he is dropping away like a stone. If he makes it to lap 25, we will know for definite, ladies and gentlemen, whether those 3 will make it at the front of the field without having to pit.
Thing is, I think if there's a safety car now, everyone is going to have to go in, but it depends.
Kent and Stenos side by side. Did Kent just go? Oh, Kent got it all wrong. He's into the wall and he's out.
Oh, he's done. That's his race done.
And that's another safety car. Well, forget about it, ladies and gentlemen. Forget about this tyre strap. We'll never know.
I am the safety car whisperer.
I think Stenos, as much as your whispering tactics have helped the safety car come out again and teased it out of itself, I think Stenos got through, and then Kent sort of thought the gap might have been there, realised it had shut, and then broke his front wing, tried to slam on the brakes, and into the tyre barrier he went. So we're down to 10. And do you know who's going to be the most frustrated by that? Nitro, because he pitted before the safety car came out. Sydney is in the lead on the pit stops.
The shortbread is literally going to be the best thing known to man for them.
Yeah, he'll be happy with that.
They're going to be loving that.
Shortbread into the pits. Everyone will come into the pits, apart from probably Nitro, to be honest. I don't see why he'd need to pit. He's got a new front wing on and he's got new tyres on as ARL comes in. So Owen is going to be chuffed to bits with this, because right now, Mikey, he's on for his best result of the season. He's in 4th place.
I was just noticed he's throwing a new set of mediums.
Because don't forget, he started on the hard tyre.
Oh, this is great for the Tifosi, isn't it? Thinking about it.
They have not had a driver this high up this season through the form of Owen or Ruddo for various reasons. You might need to re-invite ARL just so that he can get back out, because I know he's having some issues. We will do the same. But no, I've just sent an invite to somebody else who can't join. But they can't join anyway. It won't make any difference. DXT Matty is actually a racer within IRL. It's not as if I've randomly invited someone. But lap 23, let's give you an overview. So if you're just joining us, and there's quite a few people who have just joined us, we had a safety car on lap 10 when Milo de Boer lost the back end of the car on turn 13, hit the barrier, ghosted, and Sydney got away with it as a result. If you're looking to see why Paul Racetech DNF'd, he DNF'd really before we got started. Something happened from his end, couldn't get control of the car. Kent has been in a fight with the Stinos with the Red Bull, got it a little bit wrong, hit the back of him, and then gone into the tyre barriers and retired. So that means he is now out. So that's brought out this second safety car with 12 laps to go. We will not be expecting any more pit stops unless, lo and behold, we have a third safety car. But I know. But unless there is that happening, no one else is going to make a pit stop unless it is for damage. So that is the situation. That is where we are right now with a third of this race to go. And I've got to say, it's been action-packed. It's been fab to watch.
There's something happening all the time, and that's obviously something I know you agree with, that we love to see. We don't want to see it where the leader just gets off at front and the odd pass. But I think that's one of the big reasons for Zandvoort I actually love thinking about it.
Yeah.
It only takes something like a safety car or VSC, and everyone's back together again, effectively. Obviously, it depends how far you are out, but not sure if there's been a change of position there between Owen and Sydney.
Is it Sydney?
But he's given the position back. But I'm not sure if he came off the track.
Safety car in this lap, yeah.
Shortly.
You're right, Mikey. That was a bit weird, but nevertheless, they've resolved it themselves, so nobody has to get involved. So we'll ride on board with Gel, because he's the one who's got to react to Bjorn de Boer. Mikey, do you think Bjorn de Boer? Do you think Bjorn will go at the same time as Shortbread did, or will he do something different?
I think he might do something different, because I think Gel's going to expect that now. So Bjorn's, but obviously he's got to wait for that safety car to get in.
Which it isn't yet.
But obviously, because he's going that fast, from the looks of it, it looks like he's going to, So it's in the lane now. Is he going?
That was a bit of a questionable one.
There
Now
we
he
go.
goes. Off we go then for the start of the action.
Over the
Owen
line.
is under the diffuser of Sydney. Sydney's going to have to defend into turn one
going
around the
outside.
outside. Can he hang it round the outside in the Ferrari?
He's
He's
got to give him
brave! That's brave! And Sydney doesn't give him the room in the end. So Owen has to relent and reposition himself in fourth. Ignore the yellow flag in sector 2. There's nothing ongoing over there because there's no cars over there. So Ashtube is right behind. Shortbread's there. Stinos is there. Sunboy is there. Nitro's there. ARL has had a problem, so he's away from the back of the field. But it's Bjorn who leads still after the safety car restart. And they've got a bit of a gap to Sydney, and they need to keep pushing.
But yeah, obviously Shortbread is literally on the rear diffuser of Ashtube as well. So obviously we've got from first to sixth, seventh effectively. Very, very close order.
Yeah, top 9 altogether. I think ARL's had some form of issue, which is why he's miles away. So
yeah, he's just got back in.
Yeah.
So
he's probably going to score points, but I think his race at the front might be done for the time being. But Bjorn still leads. No DRS, of course, on this lap because we haven't gone over the second lap time beam, which is here as we cross the start-finish line. So DRS now enabled on this lap. So 10 to go, including the one that we're on. Bjorn de Boer, can he hang on? Can he become the first repeat winner in Tier 1 this season? Can Gel make it 6 from 6? Can Sydney do something about it? And what about the rest of the gang? Because the way that this race has gone, you can't rule out anybody at the minute.
If it's anything to go off like a real F1, the Dutch will do something interesting and surprise everyone. So I can't really put my finger on who's going to win at the minute. So
that was very close to the grass.
But Nitro is still at the back of this pack with DRS, which is nice to see, to be fair. One thing I did notice with Kent's retirement before, it was sort of like the slowest DNF I've seen in a while. As he was going across the gravel. Just...
It did have an air of peculiarity about it, I have to say, the way the car just drifted across the gravel. But I think with him breaking his front wing on the back of the Red Bull, he lost the downforce and then he just skidded off into the gravel trap. So it's a shame
like
for
a Charlie
him.
Chaplin thing, to be fair.
Yeah, a little
you could see
bit.
it coming, but you're like,
Couldn't
I
stop
hope it doesn't.
Yeah. I don't. He's none too pleased either, is Kent. Actually, I've seen his comments in the Discord. He's a bit frustrated, but not with the incident, but with somebody else. But we'll talk about that another time.
Yeah.
At the moment, it's Nitro. Not ideal.
3-second penalty.
Yeah.
To be fair, it's been quite good for penalties this evening with the guys.
That'll be the commentator's curse right there. Now that you've said that.
Yeah, right. Every single person gets a 3-second penalty.
Well, that'd be good because it'll equalise everybody out in terms of penalties. So Ashtube is one of those other drivers, which, as it stands, he'll drop to 8th place. So less than ideal. Bjorn is really strong in sector 3. I've got to say, his exit out of the chicane and then into Ashtube's gone. What's happened to Ashtube? He's dropped right the way back. He's going to get overtaken by Sunboy, isn't he, if he's not careful?
I think Stinos got him going to the bank right. Just got lucky. Obviously, he left the door open. Stinos was like, thanks very much, mate. See you later.
And he'd left the door open again as Ashtube got overtaken by Sunboy. So
he's got damage. That's why. Front left end plate. And
Nitro round the outside. Lovely manoeuvre. Great overtake. Nitro up to 8th. Cracking overtake that.
See that from the veteran of the community. Still giving it a good go. Happy days.
It's a really good overtake that from Nitro. He'll be smiling in his crash helmet at that. But at the minute, as a result of whatever's just gone on with the damage of Ashtube, it's just separated the top 5. And Stinos is just about hanging on. Sunboy is out of DRS, and if he's lost it, I fear that he might not get back in. What do you see, Mike?
Sydney just nearly lost it. Just caught the gravel going on that. But obviously, Owen's right on the tail end of him now.
Both of them, deployment fully available for the pair of them, and I think Sydney's going to get away with that.
Yeah.
Shortbread sets a new fastest lap of the race, so the lap times are tumbling at 1:11.4. We are right close to the lap record, ladies and gentlemen. Lewis Hamilton set that 4 years ago with a 1:11.0, so 4 tenths to try and find. But right now, this is tense, and I think for Sydney, I think the reason why he's pushing so hard is he knows that as it stands, he's not going to have a 10. He's not going to have a 10-point advantage. He's going to have a 5-point advantage. That's the gap halved. And I think Sydney, he's got it wrong. He's got it wrong. He's gone off the road. He's gone off the road. It's commentator's curse for sure. Sydney goes off the road at the right-hander, and Shortbread's going to go past him as well as he's going to be on the outside. I think Shortbread's going to have a better traction out of the corner. Yes. This is tight. This is important. Sydney's got to be brave. He's got to go around the outside if he wants to hang on, and yeah, he does. But Sydney got it wrong. Into the right-hander at turn 8. It's the second time he's done it in this race. And it's cost him another position.
Sorry, Jack, but the Tifosi will be over the moon. And I know for a fact Owen's teammate, Ruddo, will be absolutely over the moon watching this right now.
Yeah.
Watching his teammate. Obviously,
this is unbelievable.
Just commentators care.
I know, isn't it? Just Sydney's pushing so hard. Owen has not had a podium this season. Ferrari have not had a podium. Ruddo's not had one either. But they've been close. But this is the biggest chance for them tonight. And if Owen does get a podium, you imagine he will rightfully brag about it for 47 years. So Owen is in third position. This is massive. But I tell you what, Gel now, he doesn't have to think about Sydney behind. He can go fully for the race victory. And I've said this before about Gel. He was unlucky not to win at Monaco. He's been right in the thick of it a few times this season. This is a big opportunity now. Can he take it? Can he get past Bjorn? Which would be big for the championship as well.
Definitely. Obviously, like you said, bit of wheel spin from Owen there. There's tyres going off on the Ferrari.
If it's the case for him, it will be for Sydney. But I think Sydney's going to go back past. I don't even think he's going to even wave hello to him. He doesn't have to. There he goes. So Sydney back into third place. So that gap is back up to 5 points. It would have been 3 had he finished in fourth. Oh, Sydney, that is close. And the reason why he's tempting fate a little bit, and the reason why we say it, the reason why we focus on Sydney and Bjorn so much is this is the championship fight. You know, this is massive. Gel, don't forget, Gel is involved in this championship fight. He needs a couple of results to go his way to be properly fully involved. But he's there too.
But don't forget, there's the constructors fight mainly between Bjorn and Gel. Obviously, with Bjorn, there's only 7 points at the mid. Oh, Owen's gone past Sydney.
Sydney's had another mistake.
Same corner again.
Same corner. There's something unloading on the front left corner. I was on board for Sydney on the. I don't think so. No, there was something.
Not on the wing.
No, there's nothing. I don't think there's any. I'm just looking side pod. Is that turned up a little bit? We're on a helicopter shot, so I can't bloody see a thing. But no, they've all got the same. They've all got the same sort of rake, so there's no problem there. Gel coming towards us. Hang on a minute. Here we go. Gel to the inside. Oh, Bjorn moved just to wave him off a little bit there.
Bit of defending action from the Alpine.
Stinos hits the back of Shortbread, but they get away with that. No damage on the Red Bull by the looks of it. No, but Mikey, it's a good point you make. I'm going to ride on board with Sydney because I watched him on the last lap when he went off the road. It was like he turned into the corner and there was something wasn't unloading properly on the front left corner, and he just slivered off the road. I'm watching him now. It's this right-hander coming up.
Then to the right.
It's all right on that lap.
But it's both times he sailed off to the left.
I don't know about it. It's an odd one. Actually, new fastest lap of the race. He's going to get the point for fastest lap unless someone else has an issue somewhere out on track.
Obviously, as it stands, do correct me if I'm wrong. They will be Racing Bulls and Mercedes are the only full teams still left in this at the minute.
Yeah.
So obviously any other point both for him and Ariel, but here goes Sydney's going on the inside. See you later, goodbye, thanks Owen. But can Owen retaliate? Sorry, can't get my words out this evening.
It's been one of those races. We got 4 laps to go, including the one that we're on. Gel is still right with Bjorn the ball. So this race for the victory is far from over. Do not count out a last lap move from Gel, because it's probably the place to do it, and probably the time to do it as well on the final lap, to be honest, because there's no real place to retaliate, like Mikey says.
Right.
Shortbread's there, then it's Stinos. Everybody else who's outside the top 6, I think their places are sealed, apart from maybe Nitro and ARL, because of Nitro's penalty. But it looks...
I'm just watching Sydney to see... They've done okay again.
Yeah.
So
Maybe
I'm just a bit confused. Just last
2 instances,
maybe?
yeah, maybe. It seemed odd,
Which
but...
is rare.
It
Don't
is,
get
but
me wrong.
the pressure of a title fight can get to people sometimes, especially if you're the one being hunted down. But Bjorn is going to be comfortably ahead of Gel again this time around. I don't think Gel's going to be in a position to make a late lunge now. He's too far away. And I think Sydney is far enough ahead of Owen into turn 1. So that move is not on for the time being. So we're in groups of 2x2, a bit like Noah's Ark, as we go on to lap 34. And everyone's shaping up for a bit more of bread, and we'll see if they can get it.
Just you to throw that out. No.
Look at this for the race victory. I mean, if Gel gets a race victory, he's going to be so happy. I know how much he wants this. He's talked about it so many times. It's a home Grand Prix, like you were saying before, Mike. But just in general, he wants a race win. He's deserved one as well. It's not like he hasn't deserved it. He's really tried hard on a number of occasions. He's just come up short.
But he's been unlucky with incidents.
He's just had a bit of misfortune. But Bjorn, as I said before, he's really strong in Sector 3. And he's just, every time we get to turn 13, he's just a little bit further ahead. But they're both pushing. They're both on the battery. They're both trying to extend that gap. But it's going to be too far, I think. Stinos goes past Shortbread for 5th place whilst we were saying that. But penultimate lap.
Owen's going to make his move now if he's going to get that podium for the Ferraris.
Still going to be the best result of the season for the Tifosi
definitely.
For the Scuderia Ferrari and the Tifosi fans if he could finish 4th. But imagine if he got a podium, he'd be so delighted.
No, I'm just going to watch this fight between Bjorn and Yael, to be fair, because it's all to play for now.
It really is, and you feel that the big opportunity is going to be going on to the final lap at turn 1. That's the chance that Gel needs, but he needs to be right behind Bjorn if he's got a chance of doing it. But the Alpine,
the arse work now.
Yeah, he closes the gap down. He's got to really nail this last 2-3 corners. No, and that's that.
Oh, Owen's got a penalty.
That's going to take Owen away from the top 3. Gel's still pushing. This isn't over yet. It's far from it. That gap's half a sec. In fact, it's coming down immensely. I thought he didn't have a chance, but here he comes towards turn 1 on the final lap of the race. He's down the inside. Bjorn's going to try and hold it around the outside. He's going to have a better traction control, but they both spin. They both go with contact wheel to wheel, and Gel goes through. It is far from over on the final lap, but Gel has got the lead of the race. They both had synchronised slides through turn 1. That was unbelievable. But it's not over. Here comes the Alpine. He's going to look to the inside at turn 7. No, he blocks the door, does Gel. This is tight. This is tense, but it's far, far from over. There's still another DRS zone. 2 coming up. If Bjorn gets a good run, he's got to do...
Has to stick in this corner. He's going to go for the inside.
I don't think that's the right line.
No.
He's close.
All right. Could this work? He needs to make a dive. If he's too far away.
Well, it's going to come down to the final corner. If we've no Bjorn so strong out of this final corner, this is it, ladies and gentlemen. The last 3 corners of the racetrack. DRS, don't forget, is active when you come round this point here. Battery deployed. Here we go then towards the start-finish line. Look at how much more speed he's got. It's going to be on the line. Bjorn's got him.
On the line. Oh, wow.
Would you believe it? Bjorn de Boer snatches the race victory by a 1/10 of a second, and Gel's heart sadly will be plunging into his boots because he was so close. But alas, Bjorn de Boer becomes the first repeat winner in Tier 1. Sydney gets a podium in the end after all his troubles. Stinos is 4th, Owen in 5th, but I need to go and have a lie down.
I can't believe that. I generally thought the start finish was a lot closer. But there will be parties in the Alpine camp.
Have you ever seen a finish to an Invictus Racing League race like that?
Not really. I think the last time I seen something like that was back in the day in another league we took part in. But
yeah, I mean, it's
many moons ago.
The last time I remember a line overtake like that was Shortbread in another league back in the day. But that was, I mean, what a battle those two have had all the way through the race. Absolutely outstanding to see from these guys. And I'm sure that Bjorn de Boer will be jumping up and down like a lunatic. I know I would be in that situation, but so unlucky for Gel. He was
to make that brilliant move into turn 1, hold them off as long as he can. And it just, I don't know if he went maybe
he ran out of battery. He ran out of battery. I was watching. I deliberately didn't say this. We'll go through the race results before I say what I'm going to say. So, race winner Bjorn de Boer, fastest lap to Ash Tube. Nitro gets driver of the day. Well done, Nitro. And Shortbread has the most overtakes, but it's Bjorn de Boer on the line from a 1/10 of a second from Gel. It's Sydney in 3rd, so it's an all Dutch 1, 2, 3. Stinos is 4th with Owen in the top 5, equaling his best result of the season. Sunboy in 6th, Shortbread in 7th. It's ARL in 8th place, thanks to Nitro's penalty in 9th position. Ash Tube ended up 10th thanks to his damage, and we had retirements from Kent, Milo de Boer and Paul Racetech. So I'm sure Mikey will get the screenshot for the race, provisional race results, of course. But one thing that I was going to say was that I knew on the last lap, going into turn 1, Gel had less battery power than Bjorn. And when it got to the DRS straight in the middle sector, in sector 2, Gel had about 5 or 6% left on the steering wheel. Bjorn had about 50. And that was the difference in that final corner. And it's a race of two halves, isn't it? You feel elated for Bjorn to take that second race win of the season, the first driver to do that in Tier 1, but you also feel sad for Gel. He was so close, but he's going to have to wait for another round to get that almost, it feels like an elusive race win that he's so close to getting, but he just can't grab it.
It's obviously, it's horrible thing, to be fair. It's so close. You can literally see the champagne. But for 3 Dutch drivers to be on the podium, that's pretty impressive for Tier 1. The question is, who's going to be on the top step tomorrow night with our Tier 2?
Yeah, I mean,
it won't be me.
Gel is a little bit. Gel is a little bit upset, unfortunately. I can understand that. I can appreciate it from Gel's perspective. He's come so close, and he must be thinking, what more do I have to do to be able to pull that off? But you never know. There is another opportunity. There are going to be more opportunities through this season. We are obviously going to be, like Mikey said, we're going to be heading off tomorrow back to Zandvoort for another race. But next week, the drivers of Tier 1 for round 8, not round 9 like it will be for Tier 2, will be heading to Canada for a sprint weekend. So we'll have the sprint race, 2 one-shot qualifyings, and a 50% race come the end of it. So it's another chance for Gel to try and get that elusive race victory. Just before we finish up, Shortbread saying, yeah, I remember the race. Shortbread, I've never said this to you out loud, but I was so delighted you won, principally because you beat the guy who you overtook at the time. That's all I'm going to say on the matter. But Mikey, if you had to give a driver of the day before we finish up, who would you give it to? Nitro got it from the game, but who would you give it to? Because your opinion means more than the game.
Oh, that's nice. It's hard to say, to be honest, with the front two. They were just on a world of their own. Do you know what, I'd say probably Owen, in a way. He was sort of at the back, just working his way through, kept himself to himself, and obviously was giving Sydney a bit of a fight. But then you could say Nitro as well, actually. You know,
but who would you say? Who would you say though? Got to pick one.
Put me on the spot of it.
I am. If you don't pick one, I'll pick one for you.
Oh, no, don't do that. I know what you're like for picking stuff.
Yeah.
So what? I'm gonna go with Bjorn.
Bjorn.
About it.
Yeah. Bjorn de Boer then, race winner, tactical expositionaire with the ERS battery usage at the end. He takes Mikey's driver of the day. So, thank you everyone for watching what has been an exhilarating race here at the Netherlands. We're going to do it all again tomorrow for the Tier 2 drivers, including yours truly and Mikey, battling out on circuit. It will be ARL and Jordan who will be commentating on Tier 2 tomorrow for all of that action. So, make sure you tune in. Trust me, it's worth the wait. But from us two, from Mikey, it's bye from Mike.
Good evening and goodbye.
And from myself, Jack TM53, thank you very much for watching. And wherever you might be in the big wide world, have a good one. And we'll see you tomorrow to do it all over again here at Zandvoort in Tier 2.